Barbershop for tennis. You guys can go through. We're not recording yet.
I'm Chase. I play guitar.
I'm Kyle. I'm the frontman, ex-singer, ex-throat.
I'm Wes. I play the bass.
I'm Rogelio. I play drums.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we had our show here back in December. And it's actually like the first, like, I guess, big-ish or like first like legit venue we played. Before then, it was just like basement shows and stuff. That was a really fun night too.
It's probably like we all get like nervous and tweak out like on our own type of timing, but like we were back there in the green room, like all just like kind of like, you know, with our heads in our hands. We were really
we did
nervous.
pep talks in the back the first time we played here. Like we all got in a group huddle and everything. We're like, guys, we got this. Like we earned this. This time around, it was just like we were still like kind of tweaks, but like I think we're just exhausted because of the show later. So it's like, hey, then that's kind of it. So yeah. But we're very honored to play them at NAMM. I mean, last year they had Feeble and Flowers here. I forget who else.
It was just People and Flowers, yeah. Flowers for the Dead, shout out. People and Horse, shout out. I was there for that matinee show in the audience. It was really, really cool set. And Songbird, they always put on great shows and stuff.
This one was me and Chase were talking about it. It's a little weird. Sometimes we'll play like Uniflora. They were very good, and I'll definitely check them out.
Shout out Uniflora and Sunshine Convention with us too. They were great.
Sometimes when we play shows with like people who are younger than us, though, like it'll be like a family reunion in the crowd, which honestly I appreciate because like when we play in our hometown, yeah, so like half the crowd was like relatives and stuff like that, you know, old friends and stuff. This is the first show we played though where people have been like sitting down. So I think
First daytime show as well. It's just a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
Somebody fully order and eating a meal throughout the entirety of the sets.
I should have gone down like during the set and asked for a wing or something. It was fun though, you know.
It's like steal a notch off somebody's.
This is also definitely the hottest it's ever been.
Oh yeah, it is 96 degrees out today. It feels like 105. The humidity in there was sticky, so brutal.
Yes, yeah, we're all University of Maryland students. Actually, this guy just graduated, but yep, we all met at the University of Maryland. It was like our first or second week at the school, because him and I are freshmen, and then they both transferred from
Him and Rogelio, not me and Wes.
me, Rogelio and I, we're freshmen, and then
we transferred from the Deer Community College in Baltimore County in Essex, Maryland. That's where me and Kyle met. Fun origin story. We met and he brought up Rate Your Music, and that was our introduction.
that was also his litmus test for like if I'm chill.
Yeah, that was also brought up within Kyle and I's first.
But he did that time. It wasn't me. He mentioned Beach House, and it was all meant to be from there. So.
Me and Rogelio talked about a New Order the first time we met, and I think me and Chase talked about like Nike Blazers or something fashion.
Something like that, yeah. Because I saw he had that shit on. I was like, oh, he's about that. And I met Rogelio in the dining hall too through a friend of ours. That was chill. Yeah. I think you were the one who told me about it.
Yeah. Funny enough, to some extent, the band is still a long-running joke because we left the radio stations open. Shout out
WMUC, baby.
Elson. No, it was like we were leaving, and we were like, it'd be really funny if we started a band.
Yeah.
Took it to heart.
Way too
Took it to heart.
And here we are now.
Okay, way too is. Hey, not way too. We're very honored. We're happy.
Was it really a big? You know, it's sort of like the
It's ambiguous.
where it's like, you know, how when there's so much truth to it, it just stops being
Schrodinger's bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody in that scene are just some of the most creative and inspiring people on earth. We actually, when we all met, kind of that first WMC show, Takaba was supposed to be there. They couldn't play, but I wasn't people. But Flowers for the Dead play that show. And Flowers for the Dead now are basically a household name. They're going to be a household name in the next 5-ish years for the new albums that they're releasing. We're all good friends of them. God Forget This Dog, Mannequin Fight. Heart Swings, another really good friend of ours. That scene, while it doesn't necessarily have a sound, it has a community. And I think
there's a really good electronic scene in College Park too. Shout out our friends Bug and,
Bug and
Rosebud.
All really good friends. And that's the thing about playing house shows there. There's a serious community, and I think community was kind of the purpose of all this at the end of the day. And College Park certainly has that. So
College Park also does a really good job at maintaining community despite not having a legitimate venue.
It's all house shows, like full sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like being surrounded by so many talented people like made us like take ourselves more seriously than maybe we should have like off the rip. But like it kind of lit a fire under our asses. We were like, okay, like we're doing this in proximity to people who are doing it at a very high level, so it kind of made us like, I don't know.
Also, a big shout out to the station WMUC. They truly have given us kind of everything we really need, like all of our friends, all of our community. The station itself, like the organization, helped us set up like our very first show at his
practice
house.
space. Yeah, with our first
It's our
show was at my
practice
house,
place
but
where we met
practice
all of our
space was-
friends. Where like kind of like just the community thrives, you know. So
Bringing out porch.
yeah, intermission real quick. We definitely have had our moments of like improv in the sense that it would be like kind of off the dome or like just kind of like a very like heat of the moment kind of thing. I wouldn't necessarily describe it as like improv based or what we would do, especially now that like our sound's gotten a bit tighter. We've kind of come upon like a very cohesive sound. Since our first EP Static we released in September, we have it on all streaming platforms if you guys are so inclined to listen. But right, I had to plug. But yeah, that was kind of a little bit all over the place. I think we kind of were experimenting with a lot of different genres, different sounds. But
Yeah, I think that eclecticism was kind of a result of that improvisation. But this time around, I think, and this isn't even like too dark on horror, and I think just is this the progression of like being an artist and being a musician and everything. We're a lot more cohesive and we're a lot more comfortable with what we're doing. And also just a lot more inspired by a lot of things. So it's made things a lot easier to, I guess, come into the practice space and do it all together with ideas that we're cooking inside the studio and outside of the studio. So it's a little bit of both, I would say. So not it's our next project hopefully won't be as crazy as a result, but it's certainly something that it's how we create music together, at least, and I don't see that changing full send.
I mean, like,
what are they gonna be for?
Because I talk about this all the time.
No, I know you're gonna say it. Don't say it.
No, I'm not gonna say like anything head ass or crazy. It's changed my relationship with art and consequently myself drastically. Mostly because like prior to like I never really made music. I was never much a musician or much of an artist at the end of the day. I'm a rapid, mindless consumer of like music and literature. So it's like to start not only making.
I think you consume way too mindfully. You use three
Not,
syllable
okay,
words
not,
way too often.
not mindlessly, just by like extreme quantities. You know what I mean? But I don't know, like going from a position where you never create to creating, and then people receiving that and taking it in, and in some instances, back in like College Park, people singing it to you. That's some weird shit. And like, I'm not gonna get all head ass and say it was ego death, but it definitely like changed how I look at everything. Because then it changed like people perceive you, people will always perceive you, but people perceiving you at such a scale, it's a blessing, but it's also like I don't know how to handle that yet, and I don't think I really will. But I don't know. It's wonderful. It's certainly been a wonderful time. I mean, we won the Battle of the Bands back in October, and ever since then, I mean, we've been playing DC like all the time now, and that in and of itself has been so sick. But I don't know. It just changed how I look at music because now I really respect like I've always loved like the greats. I mean, Lou Reed, for example. We covered Sunday Morning today, so the reason why I'm saying that, like Lou Reed or like Dylan or any of those poets of the age, it's like, dude, those people are tortured as fuck and they're assholes, like full send. But not saying like I get it now, but it's like, damn, like I kind of understand, like,
You get it because you're an asshole.
yeah, maybe, I don't know, like you get really detached and you get really like, just like when you're ripping your soul out, because at least me, I write very personally. When you're doing that and so many people are receiving that, it changes everything. So that's just me personally. I don't know about you guys.
I can't really change my perspective a lot. Made like quite a lot more appreciative of what I would listen to, and also just acknowledge how much more impressive what I'm listening to feels now that. Yeah, exactly. They did that shit without Instagram, dude.
No geek part.
But also like in terms of being in a band, I don't think I've fully clocked that to some extent, at least within College Park, the name is kind of out there. So if I get asked if I'm in a band and then somebody would list off the name of bands and we're one of them, it's like, no, that shouldn't be public information. That should be like a bastard child born out of an affair that should be kept hidden for years on after. But it's nice, and also just the weekly creative outlet. I'm very grateful to have this group, to be a part of this group. That it's really hard to get 4 guys together every week. Yeah, we're all busy as fuck. We're all in it for the love of the game, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it worth it.
Yeah, it's been great. I can't really pin down any like specific like super noticeable changes like in myself or in the way I relate to art and music. At least like there definitely are. Like I guess overall on a broad scale, I definitely have changed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've like been in music my whole life. I've been in a few bands before, but this is like the first band that we've taken this far, and it's just like really great, yeah. And about just like the connections you make, the community, like these guys are like my best friends genuinely. So it just like it's really is a blessing.
Yeah, I know both you and I were like always like, oh, I want to be as, you know.
Yeah, I came to college with the express intent of like starting up.
Yeah.
And that's just walking into it willy nilly. Like,
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about it is just like seeing like your own growth through the music you make and put out. Like, you know, we all like make like Spotify playlists or something like that. You have a relationship to music that's personal, but when you're kind of like making it and creating it, it's like, I don't know, it's the like the music knows you better than you do. Like I remember when we were writing some of our songs for our first EP, I remember I like came up to I came up to someone in this band who was writing a song who was going through some personal issues, and I had to be like, because of the song, I was like, dude, are you good? I was like, you doing all right, man? So yeah, seeing like the music reflects your growth has been pretty gratifying.
I think another thing is, like, I would attend shows semi-regularly before joining a band, but now it's like a weekly, sometimes twice in a week basis. Just how much fucking music is out there, how much good music is out there
you never
that you would have never heard of if you didn't play with that band or decided to hop to a random matinee.
or have awesome, like awful or not awful, awesome zines and DIY projects going on that put shit on the map.
Yeah,
Shout out Ball Show Place. Shout out In the Pit.
meeting a band from like the State University New York scene, I would have not known what the hell goes on in Purchase, New York.
Yeah.
Do you think Purchase, New York gives a rat's ass about the DC experimental scene? No,
We can bring on an email. From
Yeah.
them, and here we are.
Yeah,
So it's really nice to just see how much music, listen to all the music that's out there as well.
that's the other best part about this is like feeling like involved with the community. Like, you know, I'm like just this show today was booked through Red Break Booking, I think it's called, and it's run by Ray from fucking Snail Mail. I was listening to them in middle school and seeing like
Also from the Baltimore area too.
they are Ellicott City legends, Snail Mail. And like you know, being that close in proximity to like dudes you are inspired by and look up to is like, I don't know, it makes you realize like this is some real shit. And it's
Ian Mackay, please notice us, please. I love you for that.
cut. I think that's kind of what we've been doing over since we put out our last EP record. I think it might technically be, I don't know, it might technically be it's like 7 songs, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Really
lost
digging
in the
deep on
sauce.
the 9
I think
Yeah.
like especially as of late, experimenting is a very broad term, but like probably leaning towards a more post-rockish sound at times, because a lot of our everything on the EP is like a 2-chord classic, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
Verse chorus structure. So just like actually expanding, and yeah, another broad term, wall of sound. It's really fun to try to create those sometimes. So
yeah,
just I guess experimenting with the structure of songs as well.
The funny thing is we're probably doing the opposite thing. Like instead of like, I think on our first EP we did a lot of experimenting, and some of it we're all happy with the EP, but like there's like a song with a bossa nova beat on our EP. There's like a hardcore song. There's like a dream pop song. We kind of, that's where we did like, where we tried to figure out like, okay, what do we want to do?
Initial experimentation.
And now with our new stuff, it's a lot more like
kind of like built the groundwork for that and like have a foundation in our basis in terms of like how we are sonically. And also, it's, like I said earlier, like we're a lot more cohesive now, which I think opens up more doors, more opportunities for experimentation in general.
yeah.
Chemistry is our chemistry has also gotten a lot better. I mean, I think it was pretty good from the start.
Yeah.
Like Serbia started pretty early, and we were relatively cohesive with that very, very early.
Yeah, that's like a funny example, because you brought up like the question of the improv earlier, and that's a song where it's like we've never really like recorded it, or like
I swore we never would, but
because you're a pretentious asshole.
it's okay.
This is a point of conflict.
You can't tell.
It's touchy subject.
We won't. We have this one song with a long title, and it's a long song, and
You improv it every single time.
yeah, we just kind of improv it and fuck around. And I think that was the first time like when we were doing a band, that and the last song on our EP were the 2 ones that we came up with, and I was like, okay, like this is what we need to work on. This is where we're going. these other guys would probably have completely different answers for you, but that was how I felt.
In response to your question, though, certainly more instrumentation, I think, as we move forward to this new album. We incorporated keys very briefly for one song off that album, or off the EP, Endlessly. But outside of that, like, we're very inspired by, like, Unwound and, like, Spiritualized, a lot of those other, like, post-rock groups. Okay, never mind. But, like, saxophone, cello, I'm not going to name any names yet, but we might have a celloist on there. Yeah, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Good things like that. So we're definitely excited as time progresses.
Giant orchestra, Vuvuzelas.
And
That's on the way.
as well as the London Symphony Youth Orchestra as well. Allegedly,
A couple didgeridoos.
yeah, something like that. In terms of like experimentation, from I guess like my answer would be, mine is a little more big picture. I think than theirs a little like longer down the line, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm like another project too. I'm not necessarily sure like where it'll fall into like my musical future, like career or whatever. But kind of doing something in the vein of like very loose, kind of noisy, maybe like additional instrumentation, but also like synthesis and stuff like that. I tasked myself to try to like learn a bit of synthesis a few months ago. Didn't really go anywhere with it.
Verbs for playing a synthesizer. Synthesis.
Yeah, but like actually like crafting the sound, like crafting the timbre, you know, like ASDR and shit. But
They set up our group chat the other week, and he was like, "Guys, can we do an indie-tronica? Can we do an electronica? It's gonna happen album." And like, yes. So there's still an appetite for us to do new shit, even though if like some of us aren't ready. Even if we're not there yet, it's
We're cooking.
yeah, I think my answer would just be like very down the line, very broad, more instrumentation, different song structure, just anything kind of I don't want to use the AG word, but authentic.
just living in the world and being aware of the problems that face people and our friends and family, even if they don't directly affect us. And, you know, all of it, whether it be like sort of the ethos that like the musicians that like approach like monetizing their music that we were influenced by, or the social issues that like are around us every day. I think there's a pretty strong agreement between the four of us that we want to be 10 toes down and stand on business and speak out for what we believe in. Yeah. Also, the three of us are political science majors. It's
Yeah. We're all like very like-minded people, I'd say, in terms of like politics and also just kind of how we go about life. And I think like doing all this and being in the scene, playing with other bands and stuff has really given us a lot of great opportunities to kind of tackle some of the issues we wouldn't normally be able to outside of this stuff. And we've kind of like gone on our own and kind of chased some of the, like, for example, you see like the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. Like, it was our idea to turn that into a charity, and then we were presented from others. Shout out Daisy and Wonk. They got us on a bill that benefited medical aid for Palestinians, and then just recently Max and Carolina, shout out them,
Plenty
from
happening.
GW, Plenty Happening. Yeah, we were on the Plenty Happening compilation that supported Whitman Walker Health and helped get trans youth and queer youth in the city access to healthcare that is being systematically like stripped away from them. Literally just last week, like the Supreme Court issued out a ruling saying that minors are not necessarily constitutionally entitled to the healthcare they need, and that's issues we're just passionate about. And also, I think it's just like really beautiful that, as unfortunate as a lot of the stuff happening in the world is today, I think it's great that we can help join the fight through what we do.
I'm a big believer in like the term, you don't need a publisher anymore, you got Instagram stories. So
That too.
and what I'm trying to get to with that is like, it's really easy to have a platform to some extent now. And I don't mean to like stroke her own back and ring her own doorbell, but with being on a stage that is quite literally a bit of a platform as well, and it's like,
it literally is.
yeah, like we just said earlier, we're all very similar in terms of like political and ideologies, that it's also just nice to actually say something about the shit that's going on when you're on stage.
And that is first and foremost like what I was going to say too. I mean, it was mentioned in our first interview that I know you noted reading. We have this position. We have a position of, I don't want to say relative power, but at least in our position, we certainly have the capability to speak out on shit like this. And while it's not entirely personal, it also is extremely personal. You know, I've had trans friends who have lost their lives. You know what I mean? I know multiple Palestinians. I know people whose cousins are getting killed day by day because of Israel, and we all do. And you know, whether or not they're friends, whether or not they're families, if you can do something about it, you should be doing something about it. You know,
Absolutely. A lot of movements too, like grassroots movements, they start not only in art scenes but in college scenes too, in college art scenes too. And so just being able to be part of kind of like those grassroots movements, or at least like where these broader movements kind of emerge and kind of come from, it's a really great thing. Just to be able to make that kind of difference and lay the seeds for all kinds of change.
I don't think any of us would make the argument that like what we're doing is equivalent to like going out and protesting, or like, you know, like any type of what do they call it? Any type of praxis or action like that. But when you have a community kind of built into what you do, where there's a lot of people who are there for the same reason, it's an easy way to just like rally people behind what you all care about. And that's something that like we were sort of welcomed into with like doing this music shit, where
With open arms, by the way, in College Park. I mean, we were received
and
very, very
PC,
quickly
and
and
PC
loved.
for that matter. Like there's so many people who like are
Just down.
yeah
That shit is priceless. So I mean, really, not to say we give back or anything. I don't want to like get on the big ass pedestal and be like we're so holy and mighty for this shit, but we have this position. We cannot do anything but use it, and that means if I scream Free Palestine at a Georgetown show, and that means getting booze or losing some money out of it, I don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? And that's no matter how far we get with this music shit, whether or not we break up next week or 10 years, 100 years from now. That's the ethos of it all, and you can't ignore that part. It's people are dying. You have something to do about that. So, yeah.
I think the one thing that like has kept us doing this as long as it is like we want to like just be authentic with what we're doing. I don't know. Sometimes I think like we do take ourselves a little too seriously, because we're just a little band. We do our little shows. We're four dudes having fun, but like we want to do this in a way that feels like yeah. We want to do this in a way that feels authentic to who we are, and that means like reflecting our beliefs in our shows and our music.
Also, speaking of, we're literally in DC, which is like the political capital of the world, frankly. There is a fascist in office right now who is actively targeting friends, families, and foreign nations alike. If we're in like literally here, what the fuck are you doing not speaking out? You know what I mean? And not to put a target on anybody, do whatever you want, it's your art, but like be so fucking for real, dude. 10 miles down that way, there's a president deciding to, basically bomb a foreign country right now. It's like, say what you want about the matter. We all have a lot to say about the matter, but at the end of the day, it's like, again, you're here, you have this position of privilege to speak out about it, especially for those that can't in some situations. You got nothing better to do but to say something. So, yeah.
Sober Spring Band Toro, what they're doing is incredible.
Kobe dropped yesterday.
I'm nearly brought to tears every time we get to play with them. Playing with Toro feels like playing with Toro feels like being a mid-major school playing like Duke or Kentucky or like the Blue Bloods in March Madness. Like we're like fucking Eastern Illinois Technical against Ohio State or something like that. They're really good. That's all I gotta say.
We mentioned them earlier, but Flowers for the Dead also, those were some of the first guys we saw in the scene.
Heart Swings as well. Heart Swings, Jacob and Co. They are amazing. They're releasing an album soon as we speak, or I think they kind of did recently. Really good friends of ours. Want to put them on the map, get them where they can. And also venues. Shout out Rhizome. Shout out like the Undercroft. Shout out where else do I really want to shout out? I don't know. Just support local music. DIY till you fucking die.
Pacific House on Rhode Island Avenue in College Park.
Yeah,
too.
0000.
We're
Blank.
not gonna dox anyone today, but yeah. If y'all like the DMV scene, Pennsylvania has some great music as well. Our good friends Cold Court are on the come up, and we play with this band called Pro Video from Pittsburgh. Shout out them, they're fucking great. If you like post-hardcore like Fugazi, you'll love Pro Video. They're probably one of my favorite bands. We play with live. We play with them at Rhizome actually
Distance right
in
now.
DC. So
Yeah.
Accessory from Chicago too. All right, I need to get this out and then I'll shut up about this particular thing. It's also like it's an incredible feeling when we first started, and within the year of starting and playing shows, the bands that we looked up to and saw as inspirations ask us to play. Like Toro and Flowers, having played shows with them within like a year and some months after formation. It was jarring then, and it's jarring now to look back on it. It's really nice.
And also just to get it out of the way, because I owe it to myself as a person to blaze Turnstile right now. They're doing things at a much like higher level of popularity and commerciality, I guess. I don't know if that's a word. You know what I mean? But they are Baltimore guys. They're hometown heroes, and they're also guys that like definitely inspire me.
Speaking of Baltimore, shout out fucking Gasket, dude. They're killing
Oh
shit
yeah,
right
how
now.
could we forget?
Max, the
Oh,
bassist, is my roommate, aka former roommate in the next like 2 months. But Flynn, we're all Baltimore County based. 3/4 of us are.
Parkville legends.
DMVC.
Shout out Gasket, dude. Shout out fucking Gasket.
Yeah, people like that who are able to like, stay true to their scene and still put on for it, just even if they're touring the country and doing crazy things
And standing on business while they do it.
standing on business. Yeah, of those guys. I don't think of more like DC heads. That's the funny thing. Like when it comes to like us being in a scene, we're from College Park, Maryland. There was a debate when we first started. We were like, should we just say we're a DMV band? But like, no, like we're just
College party.
even though the three of us are from the Baltimore County, and we play a lot of shows there, the biggest scene near us is DC, but like we have our thing going in College Park. That's where we're from. That's where we get the most love. So like trying to like claim and like attach yourself to a scene was like kind of a weird like thing to do when we first started. But the flip side has been we've gotten to like participate in both and kind of be fence sitters a little bit, and just see what each city has to offer.
Especially playing a place like Songbird. There are so many big names that come through here. It's like genuinely such an honor every time to get up on the. I mentioned this in the beginning of the interview, like having to do a fucking pep talk before we go on, knowing that we've shared the stage with some this month they have one lifeguard coming through, a band from Chicago, really really sick people. But Nostalgia was here a few weeks ago, which is like really cool R&B neo soul artist that I like. And then like Ultrabella, which is this like neo-para band that literally was on Bad Bunny's album 2 years ago, and then blew the fuck up. And it's like, why am I playing the same stage as them, dude? You know what I mean? So all in all, we're just so honored. All the friends that we made along the way, all the family that we made along the way, and we wouldn't be anything without this scene in particular. So honestly, shout out Plenty Happening. If you want a good sample size of that, absolutely check out that. And in the pit, so yeah, I have to plug you every chance I get. For the day at least. And we got merch. So see us buy merch.
Give us money. Venmo me your entire tax refunds.
If you made it, I actually ended the Boeing time.
You need to buy cigarettes.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Thank you.
We're going to be pointing to 11 Baltimore. 3, 2, 1.
welcome to Baltimore Avenue. All right. God bless.